For those wondering what goes on inside Higgins, this is a brief preview of my work that I have done so far since the beginning of September. And yes, we do pull a lot of all-nighters, so there's actually a lot going on inside Higgins. In the first semester of your first year, we started by studying very abstract spaces and its evolution into something that provides function. First, I will start by introducing the 3 word pairs that each student had to choose at the beginning of the semester that generated the abstract designs that would follow. These word pairs led to 3 black and white compositions and 3 wood joint models. Following the wood joint models, we explored selected pieces of the joint models at a larger scale and evolved them into designs based on selected footprints. From these footprint studies, I have arrived at an abstract design that has function. At the beginning of the semester, each student chose 3 word pairs. The pair of words had to be a verb and an adverb. I chose the words run fast, fall slowly, and shoot loudly. These words were then used to create 9 black and white compositions that had to capture the essence of word pairs without being too literal. I then created a joint model, a 3-inch by 3-inch wooden cube for each word pair that would transform the essence of my compositions into action of putting the joints together. My joint model for my word pairing, Fall Slowly, was used to move further on with my design. When the joint was taken apart, it arranged itself in a way that resembled similarities to an urban landscape. After the wood joint models, we had to select different pieces from each wood joint models that would be used in the creation of the next model, now enlarged to a 9-inch cube. My concept of my new model was to keep the resemblance of an urban landscape, of which these columns rode towards the sky like tall buildings, but explore the possibilities of having these columns rise up in different sizes. This resulted in a more complex study that gave my model an intricacy that was special to my project, that has stuck to my project until today. Moving on from the 9-inch models, each student was then given 6 footprints, which we had to choose 3 from and develop our designs from them. These footprints acted as perimeters of the model on the ground. In other words, when the model is sitting on the ground, this footprint would be shown on the ground. The 3 footprints I chose were the footprints that were smallest in size. I chose them so that it would help generate my design that would limit my space on the ground and would force me to extend my concept vertically. Before the footprint studies, my design lacked complexity, so I used this footprint study to really push my design further. The biggest impact was in the columns that were now 1 inch thick compared to 3 inches, resulting in much more columns with greater heights. For my last design model, currently how it is today, I'm starting to create my designs that compensate itself with certain functions given to us. Some of these functions are that they have to have areas of public, semi-public, and private spaces, a site, and the only way of transporting people from floor to floor is by stairs. By cutting sections of previous footprint studies, I was able to compose a design that allowed for these functions, but also keeping the old concepts. Due to the tall heights of my design, the highest point at almost 100 feet on a 1/4 scale, I had to enlarge certain parts of my design just to allow stairs from one floor to another. In my final design, I have used the columns to compose small cramped spaces within my model that are very maze-like, as well as using them for support and aesthetics. Interestingly, my model has been said to look like one of the towers in The Lord of the Rings. In conclusion, I have experienced a lot of short amount of time of how space that is so abstract could be used to create architecture in the end. And surprisingly enough, so abstract as a pair of words. With the studies of compositions, joints and transformation of those, I have arrived at a final design that is powerful with a touch of soaring elegance that bloomed from tiny parts of one particular joint model.